Hey, good to see you today on Daily Hope. We're continuing our study through the book of Nehemiah. And I want to ask you specifically, how do you make sure after you have success in life, in any area of life, that it doesn't kind of roll back down into failure? Maybe it's in your marriage, maybe it's in your finances, maybe it's in your career, or most importantly, your relationship with God. You seek Him, you do things His way, and you have some measure of success. How do you make sure it doesn't roll back down the hill? Because that happens to so many people. It's what I would call the challenge of complacency. Any level of success leads to comfort. And comfort, if we are not intentional, can lead us to be complacent. In fact, the more successful you are, the more comfortable you are, the more likely you are to become complacent. And so it requires an intentionality. That's where we're going to pick up in Nehemiah's story in chapter 7. Here's what happens in verse 1. After the wall had been rebuilt. So if you've been following with us, rebuilding this wall is the whole point of the book of Nehemiah. It's a lot bigger than it sounds. It's a walled city, an ancient city, and this is the center of their entire civilization and their nation and their culture and their expression of God. They faced obstacles and opposition, but God was faithful. So what do they do after the wall has been rebuilt? They've had success up to a certain point. They could get comfortable. They're in a brand new city. What are they going to do? Let's continue reading the verse. After the wall had been rebuilt, I had set the doors in place. So essentially, they made sure it's secure. They needed to hire gatekeepers to let people in or out and make sure the city was safe. The very next thing was to appoint musicians. Now, these are actually worship leaders to lead the people in worshiping God. And then the very next thing was to appoint the Levites. What did the Levites do? They taught the Bible or the Levitical law at that point. So here's what we see. Immediately after success, choose to worship God and choose to seek God in His Word. And as we continue through this, we're going to see God's people make this a lifestyle so that instead of their success becoming complacency that rolls back down, it will be success that leads to success that leads to success. And that's what God wants in your life. See you tomorrow.